Oh man.
Blessings.
Feeling good so far. Roll 24. This character's like a back and forth. Like, I don't mind his skills and that, it's just he goes. Oh shit, I need all this crap. Yeah, he's both spell damage and attack stuff. It's weird. The more I go down this, the more I start to see he gets a lot of energy shield. Yeah. Yeah, the more I look at this stuff and that, I try to figure out 3% damage taken, the recoups as. Let's go a little bit more. Anyway. Game's doing good so far. Drew's pretty good. I mean, he's got a mixture of stuff in that, and I can't blame. He's not. You're gonna go to work here in about. Oh, come on, like 3 hours. Is it 3 hours? Anyway, I'm gonna get some socks on. Man. Keep on pulling my upper fucking glue. Well, I was trying to do some squats yesterday. I guess from doing truck and shit. I gotta work on my hamstrings and my glutes more. I gotta get them stronger, because that's what my problem is. I always had that kind of problem, like that or not. But yeah, work was doing pretty good. I can't say anything really happened at work. They're really, they're decreasing this one chick's, hours and that. I think she's working pretty good. She doesn't fuck up that much, but she's learning that. I would say the one thing I always seem to hate the most is that when people, you know, sit there and they get upset because people don't want to learn super quick on that. I said, dude, these people are young. Like, it's their first fucking job. I'm like, you can't expect people to learn the first month or so. Especially when they're barely fucking working maybe like 2 days a week. Because, you know, they don't care about making all that damn money. Now, they're not working 5 days a week. Trying to maintain something, you know? Like, there's a huge line of difference. And so, personally, I'm just like, I mean, you can't sit there and just get mad because people don't want to learn super quick. Yeah, there's some people that don't want to come online that, you know, there's just, people try to scapegoat jobs a lot. I've noticed that. They try to do like the bare fucking minimum until they have to actually work. So like they'll clean dishes, they'll do like side shit all day long and that. A lot of times it gets kind of annoying and they get in the way. It's like, dude, you don't need to sweep the floor during the day that much. Yep. 7. But yeah. don't know. I'm so happy I am who I am now. Like, life's slowly starting to change. Because I'm starting to learn that, you know, not everything's up front. Not everyone's going to be this perfectionate human being. And the pride of people is so fucking high nowadays that people get so offended when other people either know more than them or know less than them. Instead of just being like the person that just wants to teach people and make things better. These people want to get to that point where they want to freak the fuck out. Like, it's like when they get proud because they finally start to become like part of life in that. I'm like, okay, bro, like, that's fucking cool, but everybody else does it, so it's like your first time driving. You're like, man, I'm the best driver ever. And then you see someone's drove for like 5 years. And, you know, they just know how to do it. They don't even think. They just respond. That's how it is. So when you work in that, like people's first jobs and that, you know, I was like, I'm happy that people work when they're younger than that. You know, to be able to get out there and make money in that, they love spending. Yeah, the world wants you to spend so the world can stay rich. That's how these marketing people stay rich. They always want you to spend all your hard-earned money so they can become millionaires, because thousands and thousands of people buy, say, their products, you know, every year for outrageous prices, and they all stay filthy fucking rich. It's just like pre-workout and that. Pre-workout business is going crazy. And the more that they can be able to monetize stuff, the more they're going to be able to sit there and use it. It's just how it is, period. That's why when I see people that go through these like little ropes and that when they're younger and that, you can see how mature they are, see how not mature they are. And then we start talking about the people that actually are mature. A lot of times it comes down to, well, like what's really going on with the younger generation. Like back in the old days, you know, like very old days, like back in like the 60s or even the 50s and that, after the Second World War, things kind of changed. Life got easier, more production started happening. People want to work more because they like making money and that, but they also like to, you know, be proud of their country. Not taking pride in for themselves. Being proud of something is to love it, to understand it, to become one with it. That's the finite difference what's happening now in America, or even all over the world. People want to change society and that, because like, oh, this society's been around for, you know, America's been around for 250 years, you know, and we need to change it. I said, what works? That's what I say. What works? Don't break it. Don't change it, because starting all the way back over with anything takes 100 fucking years. The shit doesn't happen spontaneous. You can't, you know, civilization has to like keep growing. That's why technology exists. It's a slow approach. We slowly get better and better and better. When stupid fucks, especially these commie woke tards, they want to just change the fabric of stuff without even knowing what to change or even know how to do any of that shit. They develop even something that's actually unbelievable. So there's a reason why there's a structured living. Things are structured. Without trade, you can't have anything. Without motivation to push yourself to get smarter, well, technology stops existing. That's why it's a slow approach with everything. Yes, it becomes money regulated. That's just how it is. It's a balance effect. You have to balance it. You can't just sit there and just keep on thinking that, like people assume that you could just keep on printing money in our government. Eventually, money is going to be worth less and less. And then people want to say, well, we can just change the fact. You can't change it. It's already set in place. Like America is the stronghold for all the financial things in the world. Everything comes around with what America does. Why? Because we're the most spoiled, rich people, we have the most rich people in our country. We have enormous amount of millionaires. We have people that are financially savvy because they're smart. They use the market. There's always ways of doing stuff. The biggest course of action, why people always have these type of problems, because they're fucking stupid. You're just stupid. You don't understand the world. That's why you want to change it, because you don't understand it. I talk to plenty of kids. They take off work every emotional chance they get. Every time something happens, they stub their toe. Or they sit there and they complain because, someone's paying for them, or someone is, alleviating their bill spending. They become less reliable. They always want to take off for specific things. I said, I understand people want to do things. That's fine. The problem of it is, don't deplete yourself so fast. Like, younger people are emotionally all fucked up. Including myself when I was younger. Like, I had the same emotional mentality fucking 16 years ago, 18 years ago when I was first 18. Got a job, worked, lifted weights, and did stuff in that. Yeah, I'd be a lot better off now. More or less like I'd be married with kids before I was like probably 25. But why didn't it happen? Because we're growing up like a bunch of pussies. We don't go through enough hardships to understand that we have to be disciplined. It took me a while to discipline myself. I was put into a scenario where I was spoiled. And when I see other people are like that, well, why are people like that? Because it comes down to it, women and their children, especially the guys, become too emotional. When you have super overly emotional twat waffle fucking men, well, actually little boys, basically, that's how you could say it, they don't grow up fast. They grow up very, very slowly because they're not put into predicaments. Men have to fight. Men have to get strong. Men have to get mentally, slightly unstable to hold back emotions, to learn to not care about the emotional transactions of every damn thing that happens. Because the moral code of it, what's the moral code? To survive. Can't care about the drama of the world. Which is why I pulled back from all the social media shit that's happening nowadays. I talk about it because I make fun of it. That's what the poison's at. Hollywood poisons the children. Because I grew up I grew up watching Arnold and Sylvester Stallone, Van Damme, watching all these masculine fucking people, beating up people, not exercising that, and looking at men that look like fucking men. Nowadays, men look pathetic. Some of them are, attractive, toned men that lift weights and that. But then you start learning they're all on fucking steroids. And you really start to know that you can't ever be like them because they're all on steroids. So, your masculinity kind of drops a little bit. You're like, what the fuck, man? I can't, your expectations, kind of diminish. That's why, like, back in the 50s and 60s and that, when real men, we started talking about the cowboys and Indians type movies, those men weren't jacked dudes. They were skinny, they were in good shape, but they weren't on steroids and that. They were confident and strong because of their motivation to protect, their motivation to do things justice-wise. It wasn't all about being big, jacked person that, they were gunslingers. They use technology and they get in little fist brawls and shit. Wasn't no martial arts involved, just rag tag, just beat the fuck out of people until you win type shit. That's what a lot of people grew up back in, in the 60s and 70s. And I used to watch a little bit Cowboys and Indians type stuff with my grandparents and that. Like Clint Eastwood, all that stuff and that, The dude was just can barely fucking talk. His accent was really thick in that, He wasn't like the smartest fucking person in that. But the thing of it is, in the movies now, he had massive courage. He didn't need to have gigantic fucking muscles and do the whole look thing. That's when the 70s started coming out. That's when the 80s started coming out, and everybody was doing the look thing. All women were super fucking skinny. They worried about not eating. They weren't emotionally antagonized so much. And that's what started happening. Everybody knew their role. Men were men. They worked the fucking fields and that. They worked their jobs really hard and that. They talk. One of the things I always did, they shit talk each other and that. They always did the masculine things that were like, they didn't hold emotions against each other because it's just all jokingly, all being funny. And women did the same thing too. Now you get back 90s, transition was still kind of the same in that. The early 2000s, and then the internet started picking up. And then you start getting YouTube and Facebook, and then probably around about 2000, maybe started like 2010 to like 2015. That's when you start getting a lot of people being pussies. The emotions start getting higher. People stop wanting to do so much. And that's the age where I was like, in my 20s, and I felt it. It's like, where do I go with this? Always trying to figure out, you have to study. You have to learn things. One of the things that's been missing out on a lot of this generation, especially generation, Gen Z and even the millennials, we got slowly stupider. We got intelligent with technology that we use to not use for smarts. We use it because we're just fucking lazy. There wasn't anything that we had to do to remotely think past our own asses. That's when we start transition. We stop wanting to learn. So if I go to work and that, I talk to someone that's like in their 20s and shit, I say, I barely graduated high school. I can't say you're intelligent because you barely graduated high school. Why? Are you willing to learn? Learning kind of gets obsolete. It's not about what you learn, it's are you willing to learn? Are you willing to accept certain things you need to do? Follow instructions type shit. Don't devote yourself to just pure entertainment every 3 seconds. Because you're trying to live your lifestyle at work like you're at fucking home. Like, yeah, I like going on my phone and that every once in a while. I went on my break and that, eat food for 15 minutes. I'll watch an episode of Family Guy. But as soon as work happens, I go right to work. I'm like, here's why I do that. Because to me, doing that motivates me to want to get more done. And when people start to see me get more done, that I'm reliable, I get paid more. These kids don't do it. These kids just think, well, you have to pay me anyway, so it doesn't matter what I do. I don't know, it does matter. That's why your hours get dropped. That's why you slowly start to drip your hours away. Because your hours count for more money than getting paid a certain amount just per hour. You only work 1 hour for $15 an hour. That's 1 hour for $15. Counting taxes, you might get paid like $14.30. You're like, well, I need more hours. Because there's only so much time in the day. Like, I got all this time. I've been playing before I started streaming for the last like 3 fucking hours. I got all this time. Because I came home, I slept really fucking good. I woke up at 7, took a huge fucking piss. And then I went back to bed till about 9 or so, almost 10. And then I got the whole entire day. From basically, it was like 10:15 all the way up to like 5:30. before I have to leave to go to work. That's a enormous amount of fucking hours. That's like 7 hours, give or take. Yeah, about 7 hours. 7 hours of me doing whatever the fuck I want to do. How do you not have time to do stuff during the day? Oh, your sleep sucks. Well, there you go. Fix your fucking sleep. Number one, stop worrying about stuff. Pray before you go to bed. Your worries keeps you from sleeping. Why? Because you're doing something that's not in your control. That's what worrying comes up to. You worry about something that you don't have any knowledge of because you're not doing that. When people say, "Oh, I'll leave the worries for the next day," me. I heard that from One Punch Man. One Punch Man was running around. It was his one of his last days before he had to find some criminal or something like that. Do some type of hero justice stuff so he can keep his heroing license. Guess what he said at the end of the day? He's like, "Well, I'll let the tomorrow me worry about it. I'm gonna get home and get some sleep." That's a really good concept to go by. Don't worry about something at the end of the day for the next day when the next day is not there. And this is where people start to get a little crazy when you say stuff like that. Not many people say it. I used to say it myself. Well, I worry about it because I don't know what's going on. That's the point. You're trying to think past the things you don't understand. And that's where God comes in. God already knows what's going to happen tomorrow. That's why Jesus always tells us to worry about nothing, to leave it all to Him. Everything's already happening in timeline of what every little thing, when you walk, when you stub your toe, every little thing's already known to God, not known to you. This is where a lot of people start to really try not to understand that we are only fucking mortals. You've been living for 20 years, you don't know shit. You know absolutely fucking nothing. Even people that lived for 100 years barely know anything. But as you get older, you stop worrying about things because you don't need to, because you're just like, it's just another day. As long as I'm happy, one thing. As long as I'm enjoying my life, okay, happiness. As long as I'm loving things, having God in your life. Once you do that, why worry about things? As long as you can be listening to, well, it's all good job of that, but it's like it's the little needles that people like throw at you type stuff. People just want to prick you with those little needles of irritation, so to speak. And they make you worry about shit, and when you tell them I'm not gonna worry about it, they freak out. What do you mean not worry about it? You should worry about everything, because you don't know what's going to happen tonight. Well, if the world ends tomorrow, I start thinking about something, I say, you don't know shit. Okay? You don't know jack shit. And Jack just left town. You don't know anything. You're trying to implicate things you don't understand, because you want to assume that you want to understand them, when you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about when it comes down to worrying about things that are not in your power well. You have no idea. You have El Zippo. But they still want to think. I say, you know what it comes down to? It comes down to that nasty sin, pride. Pride enables you to think not. As in, you stop thinking. When you have pride, you think too fucking much. When you alleviate your pride and you stop worrying, you stop thinking besides about what you're doing, if you want to think a little bit ahead, you can to a certain extent, but think about the things you already know. Don't elaborate on things you don't know, especially when it comes down to, actions and that, because you don't know. I don't know what people are going to say to me unless I already know them. I don't know how people are going to act unless I saw the act before. It's the experience that I can think about, which is wisdom. Then I can be like, okay, the one lady I'm going to work with is probably going to be, she might be high. I know that for a fact because I've seen it multiple times, her tweaking. I know that for a fact. That's what I'm going to be working with today. But knowing that I know, I don't have to worry. Now, is it 100%? No. There's something that could happen that could change. I hope it does change. I hope she's not tweaking so much. But still, matter of fact is that it's a high chance for it to happen. So it equals up to experience and knowledge creates wisdom. And as you know the wisdom of things, well, there you go. You don't worry because you already know. That's what God keeps telling us. God says, I will give you wisdom. You will know and understand because you'll have to experience it, and then you'll go through the structures of analyzing it and the evidence of it, and then you start to know the knowledge of it, and then guess what happens? You stop worrying about things that you know because you've already been through it. So hence, stop worrying. Ask God for wisdom. God will slowly push wisdom into you because he's all-knowing. Then you stop worrying about things. You stop banging your head up against the wall. Because worrying leads to a lot of stress. You could stress out yourself to a certain extent of learning, yes. But people overly stress themselves out over every damn thing. And they worry about what everybody else is doing besides themselves. Yeah, you can worry about what you're doing. That's perfectly fine. But when you overexert yourself too much, what always seems to happen? Like, I knew kids when I was younger, and they didn't worry about shit. They're like, as long as I'm having fun and enjoying myself, listen to the words. As long as I'm having fun and I'm happy, I don't have to worry about anything. That's the key right there. That's what God tells us. The devil takes our joy away to make us worry about things that he knows that we don't have any control over. But as long as you're enjoying life and you're happy, you can research stuff and learn stuff. Yeah, I like learning psychology now. I like learning about emotions, how the spirit world works with your emotions and that. Why some days are different than others to a certain extent. But some people are just carefree. And people like that live the best lives. They do whatever they desire to do as long as they're not doing stuff that's completely fucking stupid. And if they do stupid shit, they learn from it. That's the thing, you're learning from all this stuff and that. Jump off a bridge, hopefully land in water type stuff. You know, drive a car really fast and understand that sometimes that speed doesn't mean shit because you're barely going a little bit fast. You might get there maybe 30 seconds faster from going 50 to 70 miles an hour. It ain't gonna change really that much of a distance because you're always going to be stopping and going from going that fast to begin with because traffic's always going to go 50 when you're going 70. You'll have to sit there and go between people. Now you're still wasting time. People start to understand these little things. Some people learn it when they're younger. For when they get older, now they're accomplished so much. I know a guy that he's barely like 22 years old. Dude's already married. He's already got his life together and that. He's already got money and that. His dad raised him in a Pacific way. And he's very fucking mature like he used to be. And he's like 14 years younger than me. He ran life a little quick with learning how to make money in that, and all of a sudden he started to devote himself. That's wisdom. Motherfucker's 14 years younger than me. He's got a hell of a lot more wisdom when it comes down to how life actually works. So I compare this kid to another fucking kid that's close to the same age. They're fucking retarded. They're stupid. They're massively ignorant. They actually don't even know anything. They live life in such a little amount. The expectations of learning gets to point fucking barely gets to a point above fucking 1 out of 10. Too comfortable? Yeah. I think if you don't make life hard for yourself or you don't go through difficult situations, the learning process never happens to begin with. the learning process stops. I mean, I lived a comfortable life. Personal experience, I lived a comfortable life since forever. Lived with my parents and that, and I never had to pay bills for a long ass time and that. And then I started to contribute. I know I can rely on my parents and that. I was the one that established I want to start paying bills. I want to make my life slightly difficult. I don't want to sit around all day playing fucking video games and literally getting absolutely nowhere in life. To repeat that concept, not getting anywhere in life because I wasn't taking chances. Chances were trying to hurt me. Chances were trying to build me. When I see younger generation of people actually trying to build themselves up, you start to see these changes, and they start to be more curious about knowledge, curious about wisdom. And I have to say, a lot of people, especially the ones I see that are, I guess they're what you call, they've been generationally put into these situations because, just to say, their grandparents, they were raised in America for generations. You can start seeing why people come from other countries. They're first here in America. Either they were the first generation born here, completely fucking different. Completely different people. Because people I think about, they're not disciplined at all. They're spoiled. And that's what leads to people lack discipline. It's the spoiledness of it. When you live in a country, especially you live in America, for multiple generations, you tend to spoil your children eventually. Because generational wealth and wisdom goes with it. So you start to learn how to make money faster. You start to learn how to be more productive faster. But then again, you start to slowly spoil your children. And then your children that have kids spoil their children. And then eventually it breaks to where one of your children is just like, I want life to be fucking hard for me. I want life to be more difficult because it's so boring having all this stuff given to us. And that's what changes are starting to happen. Then we start looking for these points in that, and it all comes down what the Bible states. Bible always talks about righteous people they're working hard, they go through tributes, they go through hard stuff to learn. Wicked people are fucking lazy, they lie. Just laziness alone kind of determines foolish, woke, weak people. Laziness. Not willing to excel in anything. It's not to say you need to excel in everything else and what everybody else does. You have your own personal ways to excel in things, the things that you like, the things you enjoy. Like I said, I'm big in psychology. I love the human emotion. I love learning about that. When you start putting biblical reference into that, you start, like I said before, start to learn about the spirit world and that, you start to see the constructs of why emotions are so important. They're not important to fucking use all the time. They're important to know why things are happening. Why do you get angry? Pride. Jealousy. Admit that someone, you start to have, like, very bad competition with people. You can have good competition with people to learn to be able to progress yourself. If I see someone that's weaker than me, and, they could just jealous of me and be like, oh man, and they just complain about it. So why do you have that mindset of complaining? Well, first off, because they're fucking stupid. People that want to complain about certain things that are not in their control, that's why you complain about it to a certain extent. You can have conversations about things, but when you over exaggerate it and you get fucking massively upset about it, well, you get upset because of lack of knowledge, but your pride condemns you to think that's not a lack of knowledge, it's their fault. It's their fault for knowing something that I don't know. If everyone would ever go through that in their life, they're like, you talk to someone that's older than you, it's just smarter than you, and you're a very jealous, emotional prick. No one likes people like that. No one wants to be around you. You're too much of a drain. You're too much, I never want to be happy. Then go fuck off then. Go dig a hole and live in it then. People want to enjoy life, not to not enjoy life. When I see people that are drainers, that's what I call them. Well, actually, probably a lot of people call them. You're drainers. You drain the force of people to make you feel better. And we think of like kind of a succubus, incubus type stuff. That's basically what it is. When I see a woman that's very draining or a man that's very draining, I don't even want to talk to the motherfucker. You're just annoying. Go fuck off. You're one of the people that I probably, you know, would probably slap in the face just because of how fucking ridiculous that you could be. If you can't enjoy life, and you don't know how to enjoy life, you need to start doing more hobbies. You need to keep your mind busy. Hobbies are good. Things that you're actually interested in. Your mind's communication. I've always liked to talk about, like I said, psychology thing. That's why I started streaming. I like playing the video games. Yeah, I do, but I like talking about these things. That's just who I am. So I go with what I like to do. So that's what I like to do. Communication. Talking about, you know, whatever it is. It's always good to have a conversation about something. Especially if you're just being joyful and helpful, then it gets better. Of course, you always have negative people out there. Some people come to my streams and they're very antisocial. They only talk one way. They agree with that one way 100%. They never want to change the factors. And they're miserable. Maybe they'll come on there and talk just random shit, always be negative of what I'm talking about. So when I start talking about feminism and stuff like that, or even God, they immediately want to strike things down that. And then, you know, it's just like, why do you strike things down? Oh, I know why, because you lack understanding of the things that are being talked about. Good to talk about it. No. The conversation doesn't go your way because you just don't understand it. Maybe you should sit down and just listen. Ask questions. What about this? What about that? The brain only grows when you actually ask the fucking questions. That's why it's called a question. If you don't know something, ask why. Ask what it is. It could be something very simple like a shoelace. It could be something that simple. But if you don't know it, then why not ask? A little bit of knowledge ain't gonna cloud your brain up to where that's the only thing you know. No. We're constantly learning. Everything we look at, everything we hear, everything we taste, everything we smell, everything we touch, it's a learning experience. We learn from everything that we do with our bodies. But when you start going down the certain ropes, when people get too comfortable with themselves and never wanted to get actually smarter because they lack discipline, then you start seeing it. And then people like me talk about it because I find it very interesting. It's snowing everywhere. Like, that's why I always talk about one of the ladies I'm working at. She is very... She's very into being a nuisance. So something happened yesterday. It's always something with her. And that's how I can tell that she's just wanting attention. I have no idea why she does. The honest truth is, I can see why the dude that she's with is back and forth with her. Because that would be a fucking nuisance to want to be with a woman that's that grouchy over because this person doesn't want to be disciplined. And it's just nerve-wracking. Like, if we were sitting there, we were just, you know, working on that. I was working. I got there around like 8:15 at working at. Came in a little late in that because they told me to come in a little later. So I start working and stuff and that, like, blah, blah, blah. You know, and then out of nowhere, she gets fucking upset over absolutely nothing. And, like, we talked about it after she left and that, and like, what the fuck happened? And everyone's like, I don't know. Like, she's got mostly just uptight in that. I said, okay, what triggered it? comes down to, well, okay, if the person's prideful, people get triggered and jealous and upset over absolutely nothing. Why? Because their mind's thinking about something that no one else knows besides them, and then when that gets a negative effect on it, they freak out. That's what you call people, what you call psychotic. They live in their own little world in their head, but in reality, they don't know how to live. Yeah, because you're a fucking idiot. You're not trying to separate two things. You're not even trying to collide them together. You're just thinking of things you don't want to say because you're afraid of repercussions of the things that you say to a certain extent. And that could become a lack of people listening to you and a lack of attention. Well, here's what it is. If you talk about what people are interested in, then people will respond to you. Then you can start a conversation. Our communication, most people, they don't know how to communicate that well. They say really stupid shit, and they're like online frenzy people. I remember Xbox Live came on. I was always online talking about stuff, and I had my little group, and we would talk about a lot of stuff. And, you know, we would get, you know, very slurish and stuff like that, because we're having a good time and not talking about just random shit. And then there's always one person that comes on there and gets fucking offended. They're always going to say some emotional shit in that, and I'll be like, what? It's like talking to someone that is black and you say the N-word and you're online, you can't see them, so you can't really identify anything. They say, well, I'm black. Your point? So why do we take offense to that? Only people take offense to these slurs and to what you call racist words. It's because they're emotionally antagonizing the negativity of that word. And that negativity of that word is just the thought that they pursued of that word. So if you think of a word, you're like, if anyone says that word, I'm going to get triggered. If anyone calls me a honky, which is, you know, whatever the honky actually means, well, I already don't know what it means. It means you honk at black ladies to let them come towards you because you don't want anyone to notice that you want to be with a black person, I guess. That's the old terminology of it. But if someone calls me whatever negative slander word, I just laugh in their face. They're like, why don't you get offended? I said, why should I have to get offended? Do I have to get offended over something that doesn't mean nothing to me? There it is. If it doesn't mean nothing to me and I don't categorize it as a negative effect on me, then it doesn't do nothing towards me. I talked, plenty of black people about it, and they say they don't care if they get called the N-word, because to them, it means something different. It actually means like brotherhood. It means like a positive enforcement. But then you get the emotional black people, they get upset over the word because they believe in being a slave base of things. That's why they get all upset. Like you're constantly looking for something to blame. Instead of just blaming yourself and change the factors of what these words, what these things emotionally mean to you. You can do that for yourself. When we do the victim game nowadays, because everybody wants to talk about this shit and everyone wants to go through all of this concept enough, we really start to look at it from a different perspective when people start coming in and saying, why do you care about the things that don't matter? You put matter, you put meaning to it. That's how powerful we are with our brains. Everything we put meaning to. So if someone says, I don't like fucking Mario, and other people say, why don't you like Mario? And they explain why. It's just not interesting. It's just I'm not interested in it. Can't say, a lot of people love Mario. He's an Italian fucking plumber boy. Hey, it's me. I like to eat the pasta and play around with Luigi's butthole. Whatever stupid shit we want to say. See, someone can take offense to that. Like, why do you have to talk about it like that? Were you a pervert? No, I think it's funny. But the thing of it is, if someone calls someone else something, they have to be just the same to be able to notice it. You ever have any conversation with someone and you're like being somewhat like sexual joking, and then one person comes in that's probably a massive fucking pervert, but they get triggered by it because they want to be the one that talks about it, or they want to be the one that gets, you know, into that emotional rampage about it, whatever the fuck it might be. And they always want to say stuff like, why do you say those things? And then you're all like, well, you say the exact same thing. Well, yeah, but things you're saying in private, not in open, because you're afraid of the consequences. It reminds me of the same girl I work with today. I love using her as a reference tonight because it's so fun and so interesting to use someone that's lacking so much wisdom, because probably because of their age or because the things that they're going through in life, and that they haven't got to that point of actually willing to accept fault as much. So, you know, they take a little bit of time to learn. And this person will say some outrageous stuff and does it for attention, and it's always perverted. I never knew someone that talked about, you know, perverted shit in my life. It's like the only thing they worry about is how perverted they are. And you start looking at these concepts, you're all like, I get it, you know. People talk about something, yeah, I talk about girls, big old racks and shit, and talk about, you know, slapping titties around that. Like, that's just how it is. If a woman gets hard of it and they get offended over that, I don't give a fuck. Because that's your own personal outtake of it. Men talk like that. Just like girls talk about swallowing fucking dick. Guys don't get offended. Not like you have a guy like, oh my god, I'm offended because you like sucking dick. No, fuck no. Even if the chick is unattractive. Unless the girl clings on to you, they're like, oh yeah, the guy still accept it. Comes down to like women and that. I can't say everybody, you know. Obviously, everyone has their own opinions about who they are attracted to in that. But the biggest thing I talk about is the hidden attraction. If anyone ever dealt with that, when you're like, you know that someone's attracted to you, but you don't talk about it, and you notice it's there, but they don't vocal it a lot to you. And maybe because they have a boyfriend that or whatever that it is. But you get to the point you start to like, okay, it's like, there's a lot of hidden attraction there. So you want to give me an enormous amount of attention, flirt with me, get close to me and that. But then you get upset because you want a relationship with another man because you believe that open relationships are great. No, you don't have a lot of emotions to share with multiple humans. You can't divide your emotions. Because if you divide your emotions, then you're not giving all the emotions to one thing. You're dividing it, and then you start to think. This is why our brains are really powerful now, but our brains are also really fucking stupid. We can't emotionalize with too many people. Because then we always lose track, and we always end up fucking up something. So I say when people have multiple partners in that, I always say that it only takes one fuck up to just deliberately kill it all. They say, well, it's like, I like the sex with this person, that person, this person, but I also like the emotional stuff with just that one other person. You can't divide the two. You can't divide emotions. If you have emotions with someone on that, especially if you're, you know, attracted to them in a sexual way, you have to go through with both of them. You can't just have the sexual attention and have emotional attention and separate it. This is why I start to notice what's happening nowadays. People always try to separate it, and then what they do is, I notice they start making up lots of fucking excuses. And this is from my own personal experience. This is a really good subject to talk about because it does happen to a lot of people, especially, you know, men that are, you know, attractive looking. Or women that are attractive. Most times it's just men, because women love that fucking attention, so it doesn't even matter. But man, it's always different. I always just say like this. If a man's attractive, he's in good shape, you know, he's got a pretty face and that, almost all women want to get with that man. Just because of looks. Because women are more excitable about looks, because that's what they base their life off of, is the way they look, over anything else. Now, of course, you know, people, you know, want to say it's like, oh, it's about how you talk to them. No, that the communication comes in afterwards. But you can't. A woman doesn't attract based on just communication alone, especially when they're worried about the way they look. If a woman is just worried about the way they look, then they're gonna find people that are attractive, and they're not gonna want to get close to people that are not attractive. I learned that from one of the young ladies I used to talk to at my other job and that. She gave me a lot of good learning experience. She was fixated on looks and looks alone. She wasn't fixated on personality that much. You know, her personality was actually really good. She was fixated on her looks. She's like, I'm a model and that, I'm really sexy and that. Fixated on being skinny and that, and doing cardio a lot and that. Like, she was always doing stuff. And that's what she fixated on. So she would bluntly talk about the guy that she was attracted to. She's like, oh, this guy's really cute, this guy's really cute, man. Thing is, she wasn't very communicative. And she was, but she didn't like doing it. She worried about just the way she looked. So that'll get me through my life. Said, yeah, women worry about that shit a lot. So I remember when my ex and that came into the picture and that, before we started actually dating and that, she fixated on looks too. And what happened? They both clashed. She got jealous because, you know, she was older and the other girl was younger and she looked better. I mean, she looked better to an extent because she had better face structure and all that stuff and that. And she had more youthful look because she was fucking younger. Talking about like 14, 13 years younger. She was 19, barely turned 20. My ex was like 33. Of course she's going to be more attractive. See, men don't do that with other men. Yes, men that are younger, I guess, have more of a baby cute face. Women attract you to a certain extent. But what they really are attracted to is the masculine look of a man. Someone that stands tall, broad shoulders, big arms. They look like they can take care of things. Yeah, when you're younger and that, you know, women might do things with, you know, men and that when they're young and that, but they don't establish relationships, so they find a man that's masculine. Man that has a full-time job. Man that likes to work. Man that likes to provide. Yeah, they can be attractive. Yeah, you'll bang them, but you don't want to be with them. But this is where we get into what's happening today. Women more or less likely, to a certain extent, and men do it a little bit too, but mostly it's women. They want to separate relationships. They want to have the sugar daddy that's masculine and wants to take care of business and that. They might not be like the best looking motherfucker, but at least they establish something that they still want from it. Jesus said it right. Jesus said it plain and simple. Do not marry for what? Because you're alone. Do not marry because you want to be rich. Do not marry because you want that emotional entanglement. You marry out of love itself, God included. You marry because God. You don't marry because you want to do this. This is where we start to categorize things. This is where the faith of humanity has dropped so dramatically. Because they're so worried about things being done. Because they don't want you to understand that God gives us everything when we stop worrying about things. Isn't that amazing? So when I go back to my ex and that, talking about that young lady that was just, you know, she knew that she was more attractive. But the thing is, when I remember they got an argument one time, and she just, my ex, she just got fucking mad out of nowhere. I was just sitting there like, before we even got really close to that, she got mad out of nowhere. She started getting very fucking angry at nothing. And I said, she got angry at that because things were going her way. So she got mad, and she got furious and started temper tantruming like a fucking child. A 30-something-year-old woman still temper tantruming like she's a 5-year-old fucking, basically, infant, basically, a toddler. I guess a toddler would be, well, of course, like 3 to 4, but you know what I mean. A young fucking kid. That's literally how her mindset was. I said, and you start to look at it from that perspective, do people really grow up? Do people really grow up out of their mindset? Or do people literally they keep the temper tantrums with them for their whole entire life? And the truth is, I believe some people never grow past a certain age. I think they keep kind of the same abilities. Like, when I look at myself compared to what I used to be like fucking when I first started hitting 30, 6 years ago, completely different person. I was weaker, I was fatter, I didn't like myself as much, and I temper tantrum a little bit, not as much as I say in my 20s now. Because we're so used to getting things our way, when it doesn't go our way, we have to be able to think and be like, well, I have to do things this way. So that's what happened with my ex and that when she got an argument with that young lady you met. The young lady was very confident. She's very intelligent, very attractive, very confident. She didn't boast her like looks a lot. She talked about just wanting to be a model and stuff like that. So she kind of took that and said that she knew that she was attractive, but she didn't really boast it. She act cute and act like a feminine woman would. Be cute and want to be the center of attention. And everybody get her attention. I remember that we used to text her all the time, and I used to text her, like, oh, come on back, and then let's go all hang out and that, because she loved the attention. And she was very attractive when we first met in that. I mean, she's still a wonderfully attractive woman now, but the personality kicked in, and if too many negative things happen, attraction kind of dips down a little bit. I remember, the little cute things that she did, that and stuff like that, and she was, but also, she learned a lot too. Which I'm happy, a lot of things that me and her had conversations about throughout the, year or so that she worked with me and that. I hope things do change for her. Same thing with my ex. I had a lot of good communication with her and that about certain things. And I hope things change for her too. Hope she stops worrying about things and she needs to forgive her past and she needs to repent her sins so she can get back in the route of wanting to, live life with enjoyment again. Would I ever want to get close to any of these women ever again? Not really. At least not my ex. She was one of those temper tantrum women that like get angry out of nowhere. Cause she didn't. In her mind, she wasn't where she wanted to be at in her life, so she took it on everybody else because of her own stupidity. And well, fuck. Why do you put a time zone on everything? Well, you're supposed to be like this during a turn. It's like, who tells you this shit? Well, the world tells you that you're on a time zone. God doesn't say anything. There's no such thing as a time zone for any human being, as in you have to be a certain way. Some things have to happen for a reason. You let it happen. You have to learn from all of it. You don't just put a time limit on it and say, well, fuck. And it's like, I'm getting close to 40 in that. Do I look like I'm fucking 40? Not really. I don't think I look like I'm even close to being 40. Still got all my hair and shit. My hair's perfectly healthy in that. I don't stress out. I zone out at the time. My face structure, I have very, not even most, I don't really have any wrinkles in that. My face still has that kind of, youthy, complexion to it in that. I just turned 36. Fucking pretty buff in that. My arms are fucking huge and I got big old arms in that. I'm looking pretty stout. To me, I think I look pretty damn good for a 36-year-old man. And honestly, I think a lot of people should. I have some issues in that, so. My neck still knotted up a little bit and that. I have to stretch out all the time and that. It limits my strength a little bit. So you that popping and shit. But those limitations suck, but that's the hardship of living life. Youthful people, in their 20s and that, want to think they're invincible until they get fucked up. And all of a sudden they're just like, damn. It's like, I'm actually fucking week. I'm all fucked up. Man, you're all fucked up. It happens. Oh. Well, that's why I try not new things. That's why I'm taking these peptides. I haven't taken anything today. I'm gonna take today off and then let it cycle through all the way. Then I'm gonna take it again tomorrow. Cause I don't think I have to take it every damn day. Honestly, it says for me to do it daily now, but I'm starting to see a huge amount of production with it. So I just don't want to, you know, do too much of it and just waste it. Because some things you just do too much of it, it doesn't do anything. It just stops. Let's see. I'm waiting for me to take my dump. It's not like walking around and talking about it. Just waste this time. But yeah, one of the things that has been kind of like really kind of balancing out, at least I noticed in that, is my focus and my entertainment. Like, I just enjoy things a lot more now. I'm starting to realize things, and the more I pray for wisdom, the more I start to understand, you know, what Jesus actually wants us to understand is, and to enjoy life, to be happy. We struck our enjoyment and all that stuff in that with worrying and stressing out over things that are not in our control. Stress is going to happen, but you don't have to completely stress. You stress out with the actions that you're already doing at the moment. You don't stress out with actions that haven't happened yet. And that's what people like to do. We stress out over all this stuff and that. And it potentially makes us not enjoy life more. We're just living. And like the spark of entertainment starts to happen during certain things. Try to enjoy your life altogether. Keep yourself busy. Don't ever leave your life without doing something that you like to enjoy. Now, obviously, if it's something stupid, it's breaking laws and shit, then yeah, you should restructure your life. Do simple things. You like to go walk and that and enjoy moving, then move around. Don't ever stop. You know, if you like communicating with people and that, you know, go out to places and that, and communicate with people and that. You know, start a streaming thing like I'm doing, and just talk about what's on your mind. Collaborate with people. Enjoy conversations with people. Maybe get a podcast going, you know, like people tell me to do that. Get a podcast going, talk about the stuff and that. Just like what's going on in the world and that. I try not to worry about that stuff as much. Is it fun to talk about the woke fucktards? They're doing stupid shit? Yeah, they're stupid. But it doesn't really contribute to me. Because I'm not like that. I get a lot of people, especially from, you know, the right and left, always fight against each other. They always talk about each other and this and that and this and that. I don't care. I don't think in being, you know, conservative is to sit there and mock the other side and that and do all that. They're going to do whatever they want to do because they're wicked and stupid. Let them do whatever they want to do. I mean, talking about it and make them understand a little bit more than that if they choose to. Some people will walk away from it. Just like one of the things that's been happening now. Nicki Minaj, she's getting a lot of people to understand. A lot of black people, especially black women now, are all starting to understand that people on the left side, they're bullying Trump and that, they're saying all this negative stuff and that. They're the ones that are saying all the negative stuff about all the black community and that are conservative. So it has nothing to do with being black. It has to do with if you're on their side or not. And so they criticize people. And it'd be like, well, it has something to do with being black. It really doesn't. It never did. All that racial shit never did. It's just to ban people to keep on hating the other side. And that's why I say that's what most likely, it's what a lot of liberal-minded people do. Now, some of them hate a little bit less than others, but some of them hate so much that they always have to say, anything that happens with the news. I said, do you ever think maybe the news networks just, they're doing that for the money regulation. They're script writers. You know what they do all day? They write scripts about what they can do to mask their audience to believe in their stuff. So they entertain you with the stupidity of what's going on. And a lot of times, if not more times, they're just making up shit. And then they edit speeches. They've been doing this shit for years. And then they want you to stay focused on this so they can keep on making money. Because every time you turn on that TV, they know that you're watching, so they get advertisement money from it. So the more you watch of their shit, doesn't matter if you're watched or not. If it's just turned on, you're falling asleep during it, they're making all that money off of you. The only time they ever don't is when you change the channel. When you change the channel, they lose a view. Same thing with YouTube. It's the exact same thing. It's all about attitude. That's why they keep it interesting. And I listen to them a little bit. And I listen to stuff they say. It's the same shit every damn time. They always talk, first they always talk about all the constitutional laws or something. Like, I never believe anything a liberal news outlet ever says anymore. Sometimes they do come out and they actually have to speak the truth, because a lot of them are starting to get to that point where they're starting to be like, dude, I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. I've seen some CNN anchors are just like, yeah, this is getting kind of ridiculous. Of course. And when something starts getting ridiculous, they start to be, who knows what they do outside of their home when they're not on a script. When these anchors go home, and that a lot of times they probably are the ones that secretly vote for Trump and shit. Or secretly do things and that because they know that it's wrong to begin with, but they have to keep a job. So they have to do the script. Why do you want to be stressed out like that? It's like with the whole Don Lemon thing. Yeah, Don Lemon should be arrested. He's a fucking terrorist. I mean, the dude literally got cut from CNN from putting fucking fingers in dudes' asses. And they cut him secretly because they didn't want their brand to be fucking messed up, and then a whistleblower came out and talked about it. That's fucked up. They were the people that shouldn't have jobs like. They were the people that need to be learning how to have, you know, respect and do restriction, you know, training that when they're doing that shit. You shouldn't ever be like that. Respect people. Gay or not, whatever you want to like, you have to respect people's space in that. This is where you get to the point. Is a multi-million-dollar fucking dude. Now he's arrested for freaking doing what? Doing basically terrorizing people at churches. Terrorizing. So why do you guys always want to attack Christians? Why don't you attack the fucking Muslims? Oh, we agree with them. They don't fucking like you at all either. Muslims at least somewhat respect Christian people. Muslims fucking hate all these woke fucktards. They're like, you guys are the best country in the fucking world? And most of these Muslims are not even full-on Muslims because, well, I wouldn't want to be a full-on Quran reader anyway, believe all that shit, because their shit's fucking crazy as fuck. But the ones that just establish that as a saying, oh, well, I was born and raised with the Muslim religion, yeah, most of them are pretty Americanized people. They try to say, you know, they have pride with stuff and that. That's good, you know, pride for a country and that. I talked to someone before, like, yeah, I do my Muslim things and that, but like, I respect people here. It's like, who gives a shit? We all live underneath the same
Not
roof.
a place for such things.
You know, and that's what it is. And when I start to look at people that are just like we call them lefties and that, they're not commies. They're just, they're very satanic thinking. That's how I think about it. Because, you know, when you read the Bible not enough in that, and you don't understand the wickedness between the righteousness, the wicked people are always the laziest. They want everything given to them. They never want to work for their shit. They take like the easiest way out. They're victims. They complain about, oh, life's so bad for me and that. And all they do is want attention. Righteous people are the ones that establish the front and they push through. They try and make something of themselves. They have their doubts. Yeah, not everyone's perfect, but at least they're trying. Not say every wicked person is not righteous every now and again. It happens. That's what the balance of it is. No one's completely wicked or completely righteous. But some people establish more righteous things and they don't like being wicked because they hate it. It's like, I hate evil things. I hate people that lie. I hate people that lie. When they make up shit, I know you're fucking lying. When they say stuff that's not true, Yeah, I don't fucking like that. It makes me not even want to like the person itself. But the person itself is completely different because they're lying because they haven't went through any type of structural way of not lying. They do it because of fun, most likely, for attention. So they'll say outrageously stupid shit. Lying's lying no matter how you do it. Now, if you just don't say nothing, you can think things. You can do accusational shit. But when you get caught with it, you have to apologize. You have to be like, oh yeah, I didn't know. Don't hold that pride and be like, whoa. Maybe you should be like that because it's what everybody else is thinking type of thing. It's like, oh, you're just a fucking idiot. Like when I have conversations with people and that, and like we'll get in deep conversations about things, and we try to be very open about certain things. So once we get very open about things, then we really start to learn about, you know, what the conversation's about. You can't always do that with some people. Again, I don't believe you can do that with like liberal base kind of echo chamber people. They will never want to hear different things. And they always want to say that you're wrong for everything else. But righteous people kind of do it too. If there's something that I know that's right, I don't listen to something I know that's not right. Because I don't care. You can't go back in intelligence. When you have wisdom, people that lack the wisdom can't talk to someone that has wisdom. Because, especially when they already know certain things, like say about life and that, because they've been through enough, you can't talk to someone that just wants to be the accusational shit. Like people always worry about money. That they work, get promoted. You can make more money by getting promoted by taking more responsibilities. When you take more responsibilities, you make more money. That's literally how it always works. It doesn't matter if you're a YouTuber or a stripper. Now, if you take responsibilities, even if you're a fucking OnlyFans person, you'll get fake tits and get a fake ass and make your stomach as skinny as possible as a woman, and make your tits and ass as big as possible. You'll start structuring your face better than that because you're dropping weight, you're doing this, you're doing that, yeah, and then you'll make more money. But then you get the ones that just think, oh, I should make more money. I remember this one lady I used to work with and that. She was, you know, she was very pretty in the face and I thought she was very cute and that, but she was overweight. She had big boobs and that, but you know, she was, you know, overweight in that. And it came down to, you know, she never wanted to drop the weight. She kept on doing stuff and that to make money off of her look, but she never really wanted to try to get better. I was like, why don't you just lose the weight? You would look better. It's like, well, I would look good if I was skinny. I'm like, that's because you're so used to looking fat. That's why. You're not supposed to be fucking 50% body fat. I mean, you're not supposed to be that overweight. There's no reason for you to be that overweight. Well, first off, because you're eating like shit. Well, people accept you. Yeah, people accept you. People accept everybody. If a chick's fat with big tits, they're gonna accept you. Why? Because you got big boobs. That's it. They're not gonna look at your. They're not gonna look at how fucking fat you are. But of course, a lot of them probably think, well, she would look better if she was skinnier. Yeah. The chick I was talking about, yeah, she would look better if she dropped the fucking weight. She would look a lot better. But again, in her mind, I'm not saying 100% this is how she thinks, but this is what I assume. Her tits would get smaller. If her boobs got smaller than that, then she would be the person that she idealistically looks at herself. Yeah, because you're fat. So if you lost the fat, yeah, your boobs would get smaller. And then you would lose that kind of effect on people and that. Because that's how it was when she got attention at. Oh, I got attention because of one thing, because my boobs are big. is like guys with big dicks. And any girl, doesn't matter if they're righteous or liberal based, if they saw a guy with a pretty decently sized fucking dick on him, they're all gonna look. They're all gonna get that sense of arousal. Just like if you see a really pretty person that you're gonna look at and be like, I'm aroused by that. It's just how it is. And some people look past that stuff. Like say I look past it a lot. I was talking about, I could talk about some of the girls I've been with that have been very beautiful and that, or at least talked to and that they were interested. Can I say it? Looks are good. If I don't like the way someone looks, then I just don't fucking like the way they look. But like if there's something that I do like about a person, say the way their body looks in that because they maintain it, they don't always have to have the most prettiest face, but the face structure is all dependent on what we look at in ourselves. If you're so used to looking at yourself, you're going to want to look at someone that's similar to you. So if I look at myself and I find a woman that's kind of structured-ish, how the way I am, with the nose being a certain way and all stuff and that, jawline being a certain way, I'm going to be highly attracted to that person. I only found maybe a couple women out there that were kind of, on the same genetical look pool that I was. And we were always attracted to each other. Didn't matter. Some people are just fucking good looking. That's it. Some people are just attractive. You can't help it. You can't stop it. Then you see all these, modeling guys and that sit there that you do all that pretty work and that and get all the AI shit, and it's just like, dude, you're structurally just losing yourself. Emotional twat waffles. Anyway. Did I do this one? I think I did this one. This is a big ass carriage. Big ass carriage, a big ass fucking whole house in there. She got a fat ass fucking bed here. Got all this comfort in that. Got all these slave guys fucking dragging that thing. I don't even think 5 of them or like 30 of them. Probably more than like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, I guess, 60 of them weigh, 100 plus pounds, yeah, think about 6,000 or 7,000 pounds.
Luck is the heart of a necromancer.
Thing, probably.
Oh, beast!
I have to tell you what, this game's not fucking easy. Getting drunk by 2 fucking. I don't know what they were like with the warrior guy. He just gets armed with physical.
They defiled this land, and themselves with it. Begone, foul creature! Bones that should have fed the land, and not one's been laid to rest.
Yeah, definitely facing the boss.
Blood for blood!
Oh my god. Take half my health with one hit, bro. Jeez, that's a little ridiculous. What the fuck? We gotta get some more fucking text me. Oh man. I almost got more mana than I have in fucking health. I think it's more health.
Roots and stand
Nature takes what's old.
Keep forgetting I got that back wing and that does quite a bit of freaking damage.
Mortal fool!
Yeah, two.
Volcano creates an eruption at the target location. Holding down the skill makes the eruption more powerful. Entangle grows gnarled roots which attach vines to nearby enemies, damaging and slowing them. Entangle grows gnarled roots which attach vines to nearby enemies, damaging and slowing them.
From 5 to 6.
Entangle grows gnarled roots which attach vines to nearby enemies, damaging and Wing Blast buffets enemies, knocking them back as Pounce leaps to the target location, damaging enemy. Devour leaps onto a corpse or near-death enemy and consumes them. Grant Entangle.
The damage is a lot lower compared to all the rest of the stuff. Actually, let's take this off. A little bit of damage. I do got some of looter stuff in that. I do.
Out of mana! beast.
Oh, fucking hell. What is this? Who drained all my fucking mana?
Out of mana. Nature takes what's owed.
Yeah. Damn. I just died. I didn't know that I was almost dead. I ain't gonna lie, you face a lot of fucking people in this, and my god, you get that fucking kid. Ooh, unfair getting jumped by fucking like 20 fucking people.
Blood for blood.
Ah, shit. I mean, you still have that shrimp we got left, or you didn't need it yet?
Oh, I could like pizza.
Like pizza? Yeah.
I haven't had that in a while.
The only thing I say about the game that the mobility is. I'm good.
Never met a necromancer worth sparing.
Don't think it'll be a boss battle. Yep.
Let's see how long you last without your pet. Dead? No, the both of you.
Well, I'll put these to better use than the blighted necromancer ever did.
They never give you shit, dude. Get like no fucking gear. I got a fucking ruby. What's this too? Minion health, block chance. 8% increase amount life leech minions additional physical reduction. I'm gonna put in my passive. Okay. At least I beat him. Yeah. I guess this game is kind of based upon gear. I mean, it is based upon gear, but it's based upon more of your stats and shit. I mean, up a damn long what is real?
What have you?
These?
Where's what myself for something wrong? Jeez, there's a lot of bullshit. You have to 4% more attack damage. Scales up as your stun bar increases. Life attack. It's first because it has mana cost convert. It's life cost. Leech. Ooh. Not really good. At least 12% of your physical attack damage. That might actually be really good. Each 12% of the physical attack damage. I got 12% life drain. So I drain like 60, 70 something, because I do like 400. I think 440 should drain. Oh, I consume power. That's why I get the 50% more lightning damage. Okay. Get some life drain. Pretty bad. Probably a lot of people playing this.
Hard to believe the Vastiri once bloomed with life and colour.
I was getting ready to play the second one. It's supposed to be coming out whenever. Thought this was the second one. Yeah, I got that. No, it's first Path of Exiles. The second one hasn't came out yet. Like, is that early access or something like that? Oh, I guess it is early. It's Path of Exiles. It says 2, but it's yeah, it's the beta, but like, I guess the beta's only lasting.
The weary traveler has reached the end of the path. Welcome to the city of 7 waters, whence bounty springs. Behold our lush plains and verdant forests, blessed to feed empires far and wide. Eat, drink, and be fat at your leisure, so long as you take word back to your homeland of the glory of Keth.
Surprisingly, you don't find a lot of rares in this game. I don't think it's super fuzzy. Every once in a while I'll find something like that. It's 71 today, 72 tomorrow. Sure. Oh, 50%. Okay, we're good. Looking too far ahead. Don't go that way. 3% increased attack speed per enemy in close range. That's actually like really fucking good. Because I see more accuracy, which I just want the accuracy. Yeah, I gotta see what else we're looking up though. Yeah, I have to go back and grab that. That's just way too much armor. I mean, shit, that's fucking 24 and that's 40% more armor. That would just jack my character up. Obviously, I never care about generation though, but like. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the more physical attributes. These are going to be just pure stun. Increase damage while changing that. I might have to go down to these then. Yeah, let's go down to these. Dude, so much fucking damage. Yeah, the red's like strength-based stuff. Look at the energy sheet, look at that stuff. Totem damage, probably totem. I do like the stun. Enemies you have a stun while shape-shifting. Shape-shifting damage. Stun build up. Okay, a lot of stun build up. Stun resistance, that's pretty good. Recover 5% of max health over 1 second when stunned. Not too bad. That's gonna be. Oh, it starts faster. 20% faster start energy shield recharge while not 20% armor as applied to elemental damage. Want that? I'm about to get these up there. Critical hit 10%. Oh, what's up? I'm doing good. I'm actually just about to get off, man, chill out. So we'll then try and go to work. I gotta work here in about a couple hours. Huh. Yeah, I gotta go. Probably it won't be one of those days. It's gonna be blah. So I gotta make sure I get a little bit of. I woke up pretty early today. Let's get a little Z's in before I have to go to work. Other than that, doing really good. I mean, I like this game a lot. I mean, if you like old-fashioned Diablo 2 base stuff, I suggest you playing this, honestly. I mean, this is the creator of Diablo 1 and 2. He's the one that used to own Blizzard, but he left Blizzard because they got too stupid. So, the second one's coming out. And this is the beta for it. I've been playing it. I think it was the week in beta. It's supposed to be coming out actually soon, I guess. I think it's like February or something. But we get early access and that. But like, I like it a lot. I think it's base. Just run around, kill things, level up. You know, the biggest thing that makes this game a lot different now, you just don't put skills in the skill points. You got a big ass tree that you can look through stuff and that. So you can kind of like fuck around a little more. Actually, I feel it's AoE damage and shit. So I'm playing with the Druid class. And now there's a whole bunch of different classes and that. Kind of choose what I want to do. Yeah. They definitely did this pretty good, though. I think they really pushed it really good. It's just fun to look at all this shit, man. I'm playing the Druid right now. I'm using the Wyvern-based Druid. There's 4 different Druids you can use. You can use Werebear. You can go completely magical if you want to. But honestly, I like using this one. I got back attack. I got a jump attack. I can get forward. I can get back up. Shoot mortar balls over the place. Yeah, then I got the power, which I can do with. It gives me more strength. First attack makes it help me. It's a little bit slower, but the AoE is ferociously big, and it does 50% damage. Then I got first and 10 damage. Vines. Slows them down a little bit. It does base damage. It does constant damage. Well, I mean, knowing that you got a big old tree to go through and that's what makes this game kind of fun. You know, obviously I'm still learning certain things and I'm still going through the beginning part. I'm only in Act 2, so I really don't have every single thing. But as you go through your tree, that you kind of just pick whatever you want to do. And the biggest suggestion that you're probably going to end up getting out the bulk of the stuff at the beginning, because it's all extremely useful. Yeah, and then all the different characters and that. You know, you can play with really fast characters, like this character looks like it's got a lot of speed increase and shit. Yeah, I mean the thing's huge. I mean, this is very, very big. Like, you can go down different categories, like different, like this is all spear damage. This is all mark damage and that. It's a gigantic fucking tree. So going through all this, like the end of my tree and that. Oh yeah, look at this stuff. Get a lot of blocking now. This one is all shape shifting, I guess, damage that. Extra fire damage. This gives you more rage, percentage of rage, stuff like that. It's catastrophically amazing. Hold on. Yeah.
You want me to order? Or you gonna...
Oh man. Elements of damage, accuracy. I think I might do the lightning. Gotcha. Damage for lightning resistance. Cool. Damage penetration 2% elementals. There's a lot of life leech here. 15% increase amount of life leech. So I'm shape shifting. I get a lot of life leech. Damage to the flail, damage to the flail. That's what's cool about this. When you focus on like certain like weapons, you can always get like a huge amount of like stuff with it. So you gotta be really specific, especially when you go down these trees and that. I mean, obviously, you gotta look through all this crap and that. A lot more healing. This is a projectile damage. This is the stun build up. Yeah, this shit's kind of crazy. It's a lot to look at. You can be very creative. Obviously, you know, once you start getting into like probably like the 50s, probably the 60s or 70s and that, you start getting a bunch of points and that you kind of rearrange yourself a little bit and figure out what you want to do. Anyway, I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna lay down for a little bit before I have to go to work. You have a good one. It's just getting this game. It's create whatever you want to create. I mean, obviously, all the characters are good. You might have to grind a little bit to get up levels and that. Start getting up, like, of course, you always gotta get your defensive with your offensive because, you know, like I have problems before I got my life leech support gem that I was getting my ass fucking kicked, like a lot. Anyway.